Just like I mentioned in my previous video, a standalone LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is something we've been waiting for a very long time, and we finally have it. We also have, I mean, as you've probably seen countless times at this point, the animations for Super Saiyan 4 like, I'm just gonna play it. These are some of the highest quality animations I've seen in Dokkan in a very long time, especially for like a part 2 LR. The OST is also really nice. Dude, just the like the wind effects, the aura. Bro, how do people like Vegeta over this guy? I don't get it. How do people like Vegeta over Gogeta? Vegeta does not have this aura. Anyways, like yeah, he looks incredible. Again, I've been out of the loop when it comes to Dokkan characters for a long time, so even like when the information drops, I suppose if I'm available, I can make a video for it. But even then, it's going to be very hard for me to gauge how strong a character actually is because I haven't really played a lot of the recent events, a lot of the recent content. I don't know how hard a lot of content is, so I don't know, how these characters are going to be interacting with said forms of content. So it's going to be very hard for me to gauge everything. So I don't really know how much value something like that would even bring. But we do also have an LR Nova, which I think is really cool. I've been asking for an LR Nova for a very long time. More specifically, an LR Nova and LR like Ice character, Ice and Nova, um, as like a duo card. However, unfortunately, if I go ahead and look up a Nova, they wasted that with the tech anniversary of banning unit Ice and Nova Shenron. This deserved to be the LR in my opinion, but regardless, we are getting an LR Nova Shenron. I know that Nova, I guess, is more important in terms of like the story to Ice. I suppose. I don't. Again, I haven't watched GT in so long, but what I can tell you is that Ice doesn't have anywhere near the representation that Nova has. The only thing that we have is from Ice that's just like by himself is this character here, and this is like from the OG Dokkan event. So honestly, this celebration, I would genuinely appreciate that they gave this guy an awakening and then an EZA, which they've done for countless, not countless, but other um, free to play units that have been acquired through what's it called? Like the OG Dokkan events, right? Like for example, that physical SR Broly, they gave him an awakening to Super Saiyan 3, which I guess he's had for a while. He also has an EZA. Another example would be that Int Frieza that came from the OG Frieza Dokkan event. Let's just take a look at Frieza. See if I can pull him up really quickly. It's this Frieza right here. This is the free to play Frieza. This is the free to play Frieza that you get from the OG Frieza Dokkan event. And then somewhat kind of recently, right? They gave him an awakening and an EZA, and so they could easily treat Nova the same way, in my opinion. I don't see why he needs to not have any sort of love in this game whatsoever. So it'd be really cool for us to get a little bit of that. And then we also have this pan that looks like a banner unit. Again, I'm not too entirely sure. She looks like she's a banner unit. She does not look free to play. She also requires 35 medals. So again, even though I've been out of the loop, I don't know how things have necessarily changed recently. I've read through her kit to see if I can kind of gauge how good she is. She looks good, but I don't really know. It's like you want her to super attack a lot, such that she can raise the defense of allies by 20% for 2 turns, which of course is really good. But in order for you to do that, you gotta put her in slot 1, because when she receives an attack, she launches 2 additional attacks, each of which has a high chance of becoming a super. So that, of course, is really good. And then starting from the second turn, what you could do is put her in slot 1 on the second turn, and then temporarily she'll have she'll launch 4 additional attacks, 2 of which having a high chance to launch to be a super, and then 2 of which having a great chance to be a super. So you can essentially raise allies' defense for 2 turns by quite a bit. And I wonder if each time she does that, it's like a. I don't think it's a multiplicative buff, but that's besides the point. Anyways, yeah, I don't. She doesn't seem strong enough to be a slot 1 unit, so I don't necessarily know how useful it's going to be. But then also, when you're in slot 2 or slot 3, she's going to be more of a support character. I mean, she's supporting anyways, but giving 2 key and 60% is, again, cool, but it's like not. Like, the kit should have been revolved more around supporting and not just doing so many. Like, she should have just had this and then had additionals built into her kit, like let's say being delegated to slot 2 or slot 3, right? Not necessarily having to receive an attack, because the only way you proc this again is either in slot 1 or I believe often AoE, which, how many bosses in the game have that? I really don't know. So you would be able to tell or say or tell me how useful she, because right now she doesn't really. It seems like either you're running a support pan or a pan who's going to be doing a lot of damage. Which I really, I don't know, dude. You let me know how good pan is. You let me know. Something I did want to mention though, really quickly, if we just typed in GT, some things I'm personally hoping to see from this celebration, or I guess this part of this golden, not golden, I almost said golden week. Wow. The global Dokkan celebration. Some EZAs I'd like to see are these two. The units in which these units arrived in, like the Golden Week Goku and Frieza. Wow. Goku and Vegeta. These guys already have their EZAs. So we're essentially waiting for these EZAs, and this would be an absolute perfect time to do that. Goku's family and Vegeta's family support 3 key 40% is also still really good. You can just bump this up to 60%, give this unit 4 key and 200% starting start of turn. Maybe give them 40, maybe like 30% damage reduction. And then when there is a Goku's family or Vegeta's family category ally attacking in the same turn, you know, give them an extra, I don't know, guaranteed additional super attack and an extra 30% damage reduction, something like that. And then just buff this up to whatever. And then same thing with this unit. Instead of it just being GT heroes, I think we could easily do something like, maybe GT heroes, and I mean, any of these wouldn't necessarily be too bad. I don't want to see hybrid Saiyans. Maybe something like Bond of Parent and Child, or maybe Join Forces. Basically, I want this unit to also have, or basically be supporting 2 different categories, right? So it could be GT Heroes and Earthbred Fighters, 3 key and 60% to stats. I know this unit is more of a super attack, so maybe you can do attack and defense plus 80% here, or like 50% or something here. And then maybe this character can be kind of like the opposite. They have 50% attack and defense starting at the beginning of the turn or whatever. Maybe instead of 30%, they get 50% damage reduction. Maybe a guaranteed super attack or 2. They give both of those categories that support. And then when you're on a team with a GT Heroes category ally or Earthbred Fighters category ally, you can give them, again, extra damage reduction, guaranteed crits, whatever you want to do, right? And then bump this up to like 200, 250%, whatever the case may be. Make this for 3 turns, and why not? But again, these two would be really nice. And I have been asking for this for such a long time. These are the free-to-play units you can acquire from that I forgot the name of the event. It's like the OG baby story events. You can farm up these 3 units. Again, it's literally just Goten, Trunks, and Gohan possessed. These 3 getting awakenings into TURs and then EZAs would be really good. I do believe that we got like a baby buff for the celebration as well. So I think it would just honestly match. You can, again, like I've always been saying, you can make one of these characters be like, you can make them all really good. Maybe one is like more support focused, one is more damage focused, and one is more like defense focused. But then you can also make each of these units support one of these categories, right? So you can make one of them support corroded body and mind, and then the other one could support terrifying conquerors, and the other one could support another category. I don't know. I don't really know how you'd make it work though, because I don't know. Because like I don't really see any of these evil versions of these characters just nonchalantly supporting Super Saiyans or Kamehameha, right? Like if you're running a Kamehameha team, I don't really see you putting this guy on the team. So maybe they could just be units who support Corded Body of Mind, and both Terrifying Conquerors. Maybe this unit can give 4 key and 10% to stats, or 20% stats for both categories, and this unit gives 2 key, and like 50% to stats, and this unit gives like no key but 70% to, like I don't know. I don't know how they'd go about it, but seeing these three get TURs and EZAs would be very, very good. And then again, we already talked about Ice as well. There's a lot of units in the GT, or that are GT themed, or that have the GT link, that can get a lot of buffs. But those are the ones that I want to see more specifically. Let's see how this celebration, or this part of the celebration, part 2, rounds out. I'm very curious to see how good Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is going to be. I'm genuinely excited to read the reactions to his kit. So let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I'll see you in a few years.